Hi everyone, Road Cooking CSA style, and we've got part 2 coming up. We're taking this show on the road next door to CSA member Jessie Monter, and she's got an amazing recipe to go with that green beans a la Mexicana that we did last week. This week it's Mexican rice with fresh corn. Stay tuned.
I am back with another great Mexican recipe. This actually goes really well with the green bean recipe. And one of the reasons I'm going Mexican food is because this is such a great time of year for Mexican food because everything is seasonal. So today I'm going to make a white rice with fresh corn on the cob. To get started, for this recipe you want to get everything prepped. You'll see why in a minute. But I've measured 1.5 cups white rice and I'm soaking it. You can soak at 5 minutes, up to 20 minutes, or even longer. So I just got that started. And then I'm going to take a quarter onion. And I'm going to, you can chop it depending on your blender. I just throw it in my blender. I'm going to take 1 clove of garlic. Put 1 clove of garlic in there, and then at this point, actually, because I always like to use minimal kitchen utensils, I'm going to go ahead and drain my rice. I just pour it in a sieve, and I'm going to rinse it. The reason that you soak and then rinse the rice is it kind of, well, it removes quite a bit of starch, and that's pretty important for the texture we're going for. So I'm just giving it, you can spend more time doing this. You could do it until the water runs pretty clear. I'm just going to do it for a minute or so. And then I am going to measure, put into my blender 3.5 cups water. So I have 1.5 cups rice and I'm going to do 3.5 cups water. So I'm removing the corn from the cob, and one way that works well to do this is to stand the corn up and just do each side. Of course, you have to be really careful of your fingers here, but you just cut close to the cob. You can see for the most part I'm getting whole kernels off, which is exactly what I want. So all of my ingredients are just about ready, and then we'll get to one of the most important parts about making Mexican rice. But I have my quarter onion, my clove of garlic, 3.5 cups water. I prepared my corn, so it's going to be all ready. And I'm going to get 1 small handful of cilantro and chop it. I'll get to that in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to blend this up till it becomes liquid. I have a small bunch of cilantro, probably a couple tablespoons, and again, this just depends on your taste. If you don't like cilantro, it's actually not required, but I like just a little bit. You probably wouldn't want to do too much because then it would dominate, but just a few tablespoons of fresh cilantro. Now I'm going to fry the rice. The original recipe that I base this off of actually calls for a 1/3 cup oil. You can pour that off, but you want to make sure you're putting a generous amount of oil in to really get your rice fried. And it should be a vegetable oil, something that can handle high temperatures. I probably put in about a 1/4 cup. I always have trouble putting in enough oil. But you do want to make sure you're being generous, and if you notice you have oil at the end, you can pour it off. I'm heating up my oil. And I'm adding the rice. And I am going to fry this for about 10 to 15 minutes. This is a really important step. You want to fry it until your rice is pretty much toasted. And for the most part, you're going to need to be moving it constantly. And as you can see, the rice is a really nice toasted brown. This is about as toasted as you want it. It could be just a little bit less and that would be fine, but you want to be sure that you see the brown in there. In the meantime, I couldn't resist. I went ahead and got one of our CSA carrots and grated it, and I'm going to add it right now. It's just going to give this rice a little more vegetable, and it also gives it a really nice yellow color. So I'm just adding the carrot. I'm going to stir it up. And now the rice is ready for the garlic onion water mix we made. Just enough. Pour it in. I'm gonna bring this to a boil, and I'm gonna go ahead and add my corn, the cilantro, and salt. Typically, a rice like this would have a chicken bouillon. I'm gonna go, it gives it a flavor that's hard to recreate. I'm gonna go ahead and get a vegetable bouillon. In minutes, we're gonna check the rice. It's looking great. This is exactly what we want. There's still a little liquid, but what's important is there are the holes. That's what you're looking for. So that's how you might adjust your time more or less. When those holes appear, then you know it's ready. There's one final step. That's a great trick. I'm going to take it off the heat, put it on another burner, and then I'm going to take a dish towel, drape it over, put the lid on top, and just sort of wrap it. Now the purpose of this is all the excess moisture is going to come up and get trapped up here and come out of the rice, and that's going to give us a really delicious fluffy texture. So I've taken it off the heat, and you do want to let it sit another 5 to 10 minutes before you want to serve it.
So there you have it, Rogue Cooking CSA style, and lots of great ideas for Mexican cooking with what's fresh and ready in your box. Thanks.